The blueness of the water at this point was absolutely amazing. You could see the entire skyline. We were standing over by the planetarium, and the view was just spectacular. Another extraordinary place we visited while in Chicago was Millennium Park, home to the big amphitheater in Chicago. This theater seats hundreds, if not thousands, and they have hundreds of high-profile shows come every year, most of which are free admission. This is a great centerpiece for the city, and it provides so many things for people in the city to do, along with being a great, pretty attraction. Millennium Park is also home to the famous Lima Bean sculpture, which is actually called Cloudgate. It's by an Indian-born British artist named Sir Anish Kapoor, and it's an incredibly unique piece of art, although it does have a mate, I believe, in Houston that matches, kind of. Same general idea. The view from the area surrounding it is fabulous too, and it's reflected in the bean, which is great. I believe those are cherry trees, but don't quote me on that, but they are certainly gorgeous trees, and they accentuate the view. The landscaping in this area of Chicago relies heavily on tulips and the big blossoming trees, but they use a lot of other types of plants and foliage and bushes to really bring out how pretty the landscaping is, and it really just sets the view apart that much more from other places you can view the city. Overall, Millennium Park's landscaping is gorgeous, and I would highly recommend going and visiting it. This park also has really unique fountains. They have faces on them, and those faces actually move. For some reason, it didn't occur to me to take a video of the faces moving, but they do move, and it's really creepy but really cool. Another park we visited in Chicago is called Grant Park, which has a beach, but it also includes the famous Buckingham Fountain, along with some very bright green, very hedgy, maze-like foliage. It's quite pretty. And now we're to my personal favorite place in the entire city of Chicago, the Magnificent Mile on Michigan Avenue. Now, I'm not a huge fan of shopping, but I just really like the environment of the Magnificent Mile. And what the Magnificent Mile is it's like a mile-long stretch of shopping district on Michigan Avenue with one end backing up to the Chicago River, which is absolutely gorgeous. They dye it bright green for St. Patrick's Day every year, in case you were wondering. But the Magnificent Mile has a ton of stores. It has some high-end stores, but most of them are pretty, regular end. I wouldn't say they're low-end, but they're regular end. I mean, I bought my one souvenir at Walgreens on Magnificent Mile, so I can't really say anything. But they're absolutely gorgeous because it's just surrounded by skyscrapers, and it's got all these huge plazas, and all the buildings are such unique architecture, and the environment's just really good because there's so many people just everywhere, and you just get this big city feel, and it's just so pretty, and the Chicago River is absolutely magnificent, and I think this is just the heart of Chicago, and I think it really has the best environment you can find in Chicago. And so, of course, being that I loved this area, I took so many pictures, and so I'm just gonna photo dump them all onto you. This isn't even all of them, but I picked my favorite pictures, and so just, sit back and enjoy. Okay guys, I'm back with a story time. I actually grew up part of my childhood in Chicago, and I always had these great memories of the Magnificent Mile and just how tall all the buildings were and how pretty they all were and how many people there were. And I have to say, when I went back on this trip, I wasn't expecting it to live up to my expectations because when I was little, I was small, and that was the biggest city I'd ever seen. It was the biggest buildings I'd ever seen. So when I came back, I was kind of expecting it to be very underwhelming, but it actually wasn't. It overarched my expectations. It did more than my expectations. The buildings were so massive, and I just could not believe that not only did it meet my expectations, but it went beyond them. And that just made me very, very happy. And so when I say that this is a very, very present and very amazing area, I truly mean that. Truly. And last but not least, we went to the Sears Tower. The Sears Tower, I think it's now called the Willis Tower, is, I believe, the second tallest building in the country. It might be the third tallest, I don't know. But I grew up calling it the Sears Tower, so it's going to be the Sears Tower, by the way. But it's got an observation floor almost on the top floor. I think the top few floors are utilities, but it's really high up there, and they have like these glass boxes you can go out and stand in and like look straight down. It's crazy, but the views are absolutely spectacular. Would highly recommend going to this if you visit Chicago.